Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy Terrance, the unstoppable Coach Leftridge, welcoming you to another Tuesday night and another episode of the Unstoppable Stories with Terrance Leftridge. Thank you for joining the broadcast. Come on in, swipe and share. As always, we have another fantastic show for you tonight. So we're going to take a couple seconds, just to let the people know, let the feed go out there, let people know that we are on the air. And just get your favorite beverage. You know how I do. I always got something to drink. Get your favorite writing tool. Got my pen, got my paper, and I'm just ready to once again take some great notes as we talk to another fascinating person, another ordinary person with an unstoppable story. And if you guys have been following Unstoppable Stories with Terrance Leftridge, then you will probably know this person from about a year ago. She was on this show. She was a fabulous guest with a phenomenal story, and she has just skyrocketed with this story and taken it to a whole nother level. So we're going to introduce her in just a second, but I wanted to definitely, welcome you guys in, give a couple of minutes for some couple of people to come on in, swipe and share, give us some likes, give us some hearts. I just want to talk to you about a great weekend I had and celebrating with one of my B.A.S.E sisters. Her name is Zasha Jarrett, and she had a fabulous event this weekend. The event was for her own book. She now has her own book, and it's called No Longer Broken, No Longer Ashamed. And there you are. You can see a picture of her right there, me and her at her book signing that she had here in Lake County, Illinois. It was a fabulous event. It was a beautiful turnout. And isn't she just lovely? And that guy standing next to her, he ain't too bad looking either. So definitely want to shout out Sade. And here's the book. This is the newly released book, No Longer Broken and No Longer Ashamed by Zasha Jarrett. This is her second book now. Second book, she co-authored one of the books of the Live Your Best Life series, and now she is struck out on her own. So you can definitely check out Zasha Jarrett. You can go to her website. Her website is SadeJarrett.com, SadeJarrett.com, and I'll put that in the feed real quick. And then you can also get the book by going to Amazon.com. So go to Amazon.com and you can get a copy of her book, No Longer Broken, No Longer Ashamed. I always love supporting our B.A.S.E family, our Black Belt Speaker family, and definitely this was a great opportunity to do that. Well, our guest tonight, she goes by the name Coach Z, as I like to affectionately call her, but her name is Zasha Hall. And just about this time, December of 2016, I came to know of this lovely lady and her story, her journey of 15 months of a weight loss journey. And now how she's been able to keep it off for not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not even 4 years, but 6 years. She's been able to keep 180 pounds off. And now she is forged out her own trailways, her own path on how to show other people how they can do the very same thing. So we're happy to have her back here in the month of February because I know, and you know, if you're honest with yourself, some of you guys made that New Year's resolution to lose weight. And you jumped out January 1st, gung-ho at the gym, whether it was at Lifetime, whether it was at what's the one with the purple sign, if Planet Fitness, whether it was at your local gym, you jumped out with all this vigor and with all this drive. And now on February 6th, maybe not much vigor, maybe not much drive. Well, she's going to help you with her formula, her base formula to help you get on track and stay on track in 2018 in your weight loss journey. So, without further ado, I want to welcome to the broadcast my friend, Zasha Hall. Zasha, are you on the broadcast?
Hello, Terrance. Hello. Another year later. How awesome is that?
Yeah, yes, indeed. How are you doing, sweetheart?
I am fantastic. I must have made a really great impression for the last show to be asked to come back. So it's been a phenomenal day. What can I say?
Hey, well, you did make a great impression, not only personally, but you made a great impression with our audience as well. And it is a phenomenal story. It is an unstoppable story, and I am so
Yes.
glad to see that you haven't stopped since you told the story. So let's jump out first and foremost. You formally introduce yourself, and then I'm gonna ask you the first question as we jump in to this conversation. So go ahead.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Hello, everyone. I am Zasha, also known as Coach Z. I am a body transformational coach, also a speaker and an upcoming author. So be on the lookout for my book, by the way.
I love it. And you know what we always like to ask? We always like to ask of our guests this one question, being the Unstoppable Story Show. So, Zasha, tell our audience, what does it mean to you to be unstoppable?
To be unstoppable means to participate relentlessly in the manifestation of your goal. So to be unstoppable means to keep going at whatever it is you're trying to pursue, no matter what.
Wow. And you definitely are the epitome of continuing no matter what, because you have this fabulous journey that now, well, probably for you is now like a distant memory. But for people that you tell this story to each and every day, it's a story of triumph. It's a story of overcoming. It's a story
Yeah,
of getting over obstacles that millions of people each day in the world deal with. And
yeah.
that's the obstacle of weight loss. So real quickly, give us the condensed version of your unstoppable story.
Oh, wow. Condensed version. All right, I will give it a go. Well, let's just say it all started, from as a young adult and not necessarily just a lot of decisions, bad decisions after bad decisions, and not being educated on how to eat properly. And so as a young adult on up until a young woman, having a sedentary lifestyle, I was one of those people where choir was my thing, not necessarily sports. So I was real big into things that didn't include physical activity. And that, along with, eating all of the wrong things in very large amounts, just as a young adult, my weight just spiraled out of control as I graduated and went to college and working, and getting into corporate America. And there again, I was seated and hit with the sedentary lifestyle, not, incredibly motivated to do any physical activity and not really understanding what was required in order to be healthy, because the damage was already done. And along with depression that kicked in, along with again that terrible those eating habits and that lifestyle that so many of us have, one thing led to another. And before I knew it, as a young woman, a young adult in my early 20s, I had spiraled up to over 300 pounds. And that's the beginning, of, as far as when it all started, my fight with obesity. And there was one day, we all reach, and this is what I really want everybody to really think very deeply about this, because pain is a great connector. And this is what's going to hit a lot of people. You see online and you see on TV, a lot of people just, they're talking about their glory, but you don't know their story. And the pain is the part that a lot of people are afraid to share. So what I'm getting ready to share with you now, this is what a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people, of course, can relate to the sedentary lifestyle and not really the physical lack of physical activity, eating a lot of the wrong things. But was really this is what really encouraged me. This is when I knew that it had gotten out of hand. I was some friends and I, me and some friends, we were at Six Flags theme park, and something deep down inside of me, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off, but I was going to try. And we waited in line for about a few hours. This is when the Superman roller coaster had just, it just came out, and we were really excited. And we waited in line a few hours. I got up to the front of the line and got into the seat, Terrance. And here I was doing one of these numbers, and I couldn't buckle my seatbelt.
Wow.
And Terrance, in front of course, it was probably hundreds of people, but in my mind, what looked like thousands of people, the ride operator told me that I had to get off the ride because I was overweight and she couldn't latch the seatbelt. And that was a huge wake up. That it was humiliating, it was embarrassing, it was shameful. These are a lot of the things that overweight people experience. And not only was I overweight, Terrance, I was morbidly obese, which is totally different from just being a little bit overweight.
And
So my
for our audience, explain the difference, because sometimes we just throw the word overweight out, and
yeah,
you know it's just an all-encompassing word. But those are
yeah,
two different definitions. So explain
they
it to
are.
our audience.
It's your BMI, which is your body mass index for your height to weight ratio. So it just says basically how much extra fat is your body holding. And when you get over a certain number, which could be anywhere, for me it was between 35 and 41 type of thing. So when I exceeded the number 41, that's when you move from just having a little bit of extra fat on your body to a whole lot, meaning you are increasing your chance of obesity related diseases, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, that kind of thing. So the difference is it just depends on what your height and what the standard is for your weight
Right.
according to your height. That's the
Okay.
difference.
And not without going into too much detail with that, because we know the BMI and also the height and weight, it can be subjective based upon other factors, including your
Yeah,
culture, your body type, and style.
true.
But for you, you mentioned in the notes that we exchanged with each other that this was a defining moment for you. What made that a defining moment for you?
What made it a defining moment was because I knew that I was giving my control to something that I had total control over. And at that very moment, I felt like I didn't have control. I felt hopeless. So there was a lot of I felt like I had hit rock bottom. And that's often what has to happen to people is you get sign after sign after sign after sign after sign. And that was my rock bottom. It took for me to be embarrassed, for me to be humiliated, because I already knew deep down inside that I had to make a change. But it took for that public arena for me to be in, and for all of those eyes that I felt were peering down at me, because honestly, we know better. We know better, but we don't do better. And that was that defining moment that said, this right now, you are, most of us, everyone that's dealing with being obesity, Terrance, are walking, talking, ticking time bombs. And it's only a matter of time before something happens. It's either we don't realize how close between life and death
Yeah.
that thin line we're walking on, which I walked it for years. So it's to each his own. But for me, I said to myself, I'm giving my life. That's my peace of mind. That's my confidence, my self-esteem. Everything was taken away from me. I'd reached a point where I felt like I was just kind of, sleepwalking and not really paying attention at all, because I was so deep into a mental fog. That's what it does to you. Obesity is it causes your body and your mind to be in a compromised state. You are constantly in a compromised state. It's so much deeper than, so what a lot of people don't realize, it is so much deeper than just what you see on the scale. It is
Yeah.
affecting you mentally, emotionally, physically, and all other places. So that
Yes.
defining moment for me, it absolutely, it made me see that this is what I needed to change in order for this to follow.
I love it. You guys were talking with Zasha Hall, affectionately known as Coach Z, the transformation expert on the Unstoppable Stories show with Terrance Leftridge. I love the fact that this was a defining moment for you and how that defining moment can lead to an unstoppable decision. And for people who are watching, whether you're watching live or watching in the replay, you know what? Your defining moment may have absolutely nothing to do with weight loss. Maybe you weren't embarrassed sitting in a roller coaster that you couldn't fit in. Maybe your defining moment was a job loss. Maybe your defining moment was a weight loss. But as we continue to talk to Coach Z tonight, I want you to make her story your story in looking at your defining moment and see how you can turn that defining moment into an unstoppable decision tonight using the same formula she's going to talk to us about in losing and maintaining weight loss. It's the same formula you'll be able to use to lose that weighted mindset and maintain your unstoppable progress. So back to you, Coach Z. Thank you again for the time. You have now been able to fast forward 6 years of this incredible weight loss journey, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So, and how much did you lose and how much have you maintained over those 6 years?
I lost a total of 180 pounds, 70 inches across my entire body, and 9 dress sizes. And
Mm.
I have been able to maintain this, to keep this weight off and maintain it for almost working on 7 years now.
Wow, 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 wow. Let's just throw up the picture that you have been proudly posting as a exhibit for everyone who can see. Down at the bottom, underneath the logo, are three versions of Zasha Hall. On the far left, you see her at her defining moment. That's the 300 pounds, you said, correct?
Yes, it is. I was tipping the scale at 350, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yes.
And then in the center, we have you in your nice burgundy outfit with the pants that look like they're the 4 or 5 sizes too big. And
Yeah,
then,
more than that. Those were the pants that I had on in the before picture to the left.
oh wow,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah. I kept them.
And then finally, around this time last year, you were just on top of the world because not
Yeah.
only were you happy with your body, you were happy physically, mentally, and
Yeah.
and you had another defining moment around that time too, right?
Yeah. I got married.
So shout out to Isaac, who I know is
Yes.
watching. Shout out to Isaac. You guys are coming up. You've had your anniversary, or you're coming up on the anniversary.
Yeah, we had the anniversary just a few months ago.
What a difference a year makes. What a
Yes.
difference a year makes. And for you guys who didn't see the episode on the Unstoppable Stories this time last year, this was the first time that Coach Z actually publicly over the internet across the world told her story. And boy, she was shaking then, but now look at her now. So talk about let's go from that defining moment to where you are right now and this past year of telling your story. What's that been like for you?
It has been, it's hard to even put it to words. It has been the most amazing journey, Terrance. I mean, in ways that I can't even really even begin to explain. When you face anything in your life that's as incredibly difficult as transforming your body, as weight loss, which believe me, for anybody who's ever walked that journey, they understand that it is incredibly challenging. You, it will, once you conquer this, it will absolutely change the trajectory of your life. And that's what it's done for me. It's put me in some amazing places, to be around some amazing people, to be able to inspire and motivate people and lead them to their transformational breakthrough. So I never knew that it would put me in a position to where, because of something that I did for myself, then I'd be able to, and the formula that I created for achieving this kind of transformation, that I would be able to change others' trajectory of their lives. So much has changed, not only, of course, in my a living, walking, breathing testimony to this formula, to the fact that if you're willing to put in the work, that you can achieve such a massive transformation as I did. And also just what changing your habits and your beliefs and your perceptions and your environments and all of the things that are required to achieve a transformation of this magnitude, and where it can take you in your life. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this will catapult you to that place that you dream of when you are in your room at night to yourself, praying to God to please help you through this. I know what you're going through. I know what prayers you send up when nobody's listening. But I promise you, there is someone that's listening. And when you make the decision to do this, it will change everything about your life. Everything.
Hey, you know what? And that's why we've got you on the show, because we know there's somebody who needs to hear your story over and over again. Because it's the one thing that I know, being a speaker and being a coach and being around all walks of life, talking to different people on different levels on a daily basis, it seems, is that sometimes we don't get the message the first time.
Yeah,
Sometimes
right.
it doesn't resonate with us the first time. Sometimes we can still be in a denial about our situation. We haven't had that defining moment that is going to allow the light bulb to turn on to see that we have to do something different. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
one of your fellow trainers, he's made millions of dollars off of the DVD called Insanity. And why did
Yeah.
he call it Insanity? Because he knows that people were going around doing the same thing over and over
Over and
and over
over.
again, expecting a different result. And
Yes.
only until they decided that they were going to be as insane about their weight loss as they were about everything else, that they
There
were
you
going to
go.
make a difference in their life. But now
Yeah.
you have your own formula, so we're not going to give that. That was his free plug. But now you have, and we're not going to even say his name. But
Okay.
as we are sitting here talking to the transformation expert herself, Coach Z, Zasha Hall, on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge, we want to transition for the next couple of minutes and talk about the formula. And see, here's the one thing that both Coach Z and me, Coach T, know, that in order for anything to work, in order for you to achieve anything in life, you've got to start with a foundation. And that foundation requires, I love it. I love what she's about to share with you. It requires a base. You've got to start at a base. You've got to have a basic foundation. And for us, what we're going to learn tonight from Coach Z is not only the base to help you in your wellness and health journey, but you can use those same principles to help you in all assets of your life. So, Coach Z, tell them about this base formula that you've created.
Yes, yes, my pleasure. This is a formula that I developed through my own personal walk of putting one foot after the other for 15 months and maintaining it 6 years later. So get your pen and paper handy. So I'm going to give you the gist of it. When it comes to what people want to know, your worst nightmare. People who have struggled with weight loss, their worst nightmare is doing what? Is gaining the weight back. Everybody hates to yo-yo. They absolutely hate it. It's their biggest fear. Well, what I thought about was, well, there's something that people like myself understand when you achieve a massive transformation and you've been able to keep it, that means you have to transform on a subconscious level. And a lot of people don't understand that. They base it just off of they want to be smaller, they want to change what they see in the mirror, but the change has to happen from within. Because if you have not changed yourself subconsciously, then you're going to yo-yo because you hadn't quite figured out yet what it takes to keep it off. You know what it takes to take it off, but to keep it off is a totally different thing. So what I created was a 4-step formula called B.A.S.E, which is what this is going to do is change the vibration that truly resonates within you. Because when you truly change on the inside, there is no old you to go back to. So I can honestly say that what a transformation is a metamorphosis, which is a change in a state or a thing by supernatural means. When you change supernaturally, when there's a, when you think of a caterpillar that's changing into a butterfly, that butterfly can no longer go back to being a caterpillar. So that's the best way to understand it when you think of the cocoon, and when you think of what happens in the cocoon, that thing is transforming into a totally different state. So there is no going back into that cocoon because that's a person's safe place. So what this formula is going to do is going to provide for you a foundation somewhere. This is home plate for you. This is where you can always go back to, and you always have this to live on and to implement this formula into your daily life every single day to be able to walk this walk and maintain this walk. Because I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it's definitely worth it if you have a blueprint. That's what B.A.S.E is going to do for you. B.A.S.E is going to give you the foundation of what you need, which you need a very strong belief. Because what this is going to do is start twisting that subconscious. It's not about the conscious mind. It's not about just your thoughts, you guys. Because thoughts, we can have positive and negative thoughts all day. But that baggage of luggage, of things that we're carrying around with us, how we truly feel about ourselves because of past hurts, beliefs, decisions, thoughts, and different things that we've done, that's what we're truly carrying with us. And that's what creates our current world right now. When they say thoughts become things and you are creators, that is absolutely true. So this formula teaches you first how to start rewiring and reprogramming this right here. Because there's been a multitude of bad decisions that have led you to this point of being overweight or obese and unhappy with yourself and depressed, and you got anxiety going on, and your health is just spiraling out of control and all these different things. You have belief, which is believing in the unfamiliar possibility. You have alignment, and there are, of course, these things are what I teach in my program. Is personally tailored to the person, because you have to know what a person is thinking in order to be able to tailor this. And anybody can adopt this foundation. A is alignment. You guys, we are transmission towers, and our thoughts, everything that we think on a conscious level and on a subconscious level, creates our world. So a lot of people who are overweight and struggling with their self-confidence and self-esteem and how they feel about themselves, they have these true deep down, really, really deep down thoughts about themselves that says, I'm not worthy. that says I'm unattractive, that says I'm invisible, all of these negative thoughts and negative emotions that they think and feel about themselves every single day that has been imprinted into their subconscious mind. So when you transmit this stuff outwardly, that's
Yes.
what comes back.
So
That's what a
let me jump in real quick as we're talking to
okay.
Coach D, Zasha Hall on the Unstoppable Story Show. We talked about belief and now we're talking about alignment. All of those stem back to the mindset. So
Yeah.
real quickly, what was your belief system? What was your alignment before you lost the weight? And how is it now, 6 years later, 180 pounds, 9 dress sizes? What's the difference between those two?
Two totally different people.
Okay.
Transformed.
Okay.
Because that was the old me. That was the before I crawled into the cocoon and transformed and became the butterfly. So the old me was very I had no idea until I started to unpack this stuff and educate myself. I had no idea just how bad it was. But a lot of things played a toll into my belief system and my alignment, which is circumstances, which is environment, what you grow up in, what you're taught to believe. TV has a lot to do with it. Subliminal message, what you think about yourself, your self-conscious, your self-esteem, the
Right.
food that you're eating, it affects your brain. It make the sugars and starch and all of those things. I was in a very, very, my energy was very low. And when I say energy, I don't mean physical energy. I mean my alignment energy
Right.
was very low because of it. Music affects it. Music, TV, everything you read, watch, listen to, how you feel about yourself. So that old me that I used to be I was in alignment to everything that I was getting was a direct result of my thoughts because I didn't think positively about myself. I compared myself to other people a lot, especially if you're fighting with your physical appearance. You're looking at what you see on TV, you're looking at what you think what's attractive to other people. It plays these serious mind games on you. And if you're not strong enough, and I was just one of those people who at that time, because I was fighting with being overweight, fighting with not feeling good about myself, fighting with obesity. I fought with this every single day. So that belief in that alignment, it right here had total control over. It was very suppressed in a very negative place that I was in, along with most people who are fighting with obesity.
So now, do you feel that defining moment, that day on the roller coaster, did that change your belief system, or was that just the spark? I really want to pull out of you because this, again, you're talking to some people right now, and we don't want to create the image that it just happens just like that. First, you've got to have the awareness, and then you've got to have the action. So, in that defining moment, you became aware that this was no longer who Zasha wanted to be.
Yeah.
Then what was the action to change your belief and change your alignment?
The action was to take massive action because I had already piddled and paddled, which most of us have who are struggling with this kind of thing, and had, maybe this program or use this product. I really hadn't dove deep into anything and made a commitment. When that day, I decided to take massive action. And this is what most people will not do. And this is the reason why most people, you see a few of us who have actually achieved a transformation of this magnitude. What massive action means from that day forward, I made a promise to myself to not give my life to obesity. What that meant was I completely cut out everything that no longer served me in this future goal, which means that, and that goes into the B.A.S.E formula. I completely cut out everything: sugar, starch, sodas. I changed my diet. I started looking into different doctors and YouTube videos and motivational speakers, things we weren't educated on this stuff. Hey, this is what's going to help you to live this magnificent life. We wasn't really educated on that. It was go to school, go to college, get a job, have a family, and then that's kind of it and see what happens from there. This whole motivational thing, You got to figure that out on your own. You're not taught that in high school. So Terrance, I dove deep, a lot deeper, deeper than I ever had before, in order to get to know myself and what it is that I needed to do. That massive action. That's a whole lot different than just doing the little things along the way and
Yeah.
making little changes. And that's where people get stuck at, is because everybody has their own style, everybody has their own coaching style, and they'll say little bitty changes, not Coach Z. I'm going to tell you to go full throttle
I
and
love it.
take massive action.
I love it. And you know what? Again, we're talking to Zasha Hall, the transformation expert, Coach Z, as we affectionately call her. And I know we're coming up on your time, so I'm going to move right along. But I just want to drive this point home, because we said we were not only going to talk to you about how the formula will help you in your weight loss journey, this formula will help you in your life achievement journey. See, massive action requires you, as Coach Z said, to cut out everything that won't help you reach your goal. And that works as far as your weight loss is concerned, but that also affects how your life loss concerns. If you're trying to lose some things that's been holding you back, if you're trying to lose some things that's been stopping you, if you're trying to lose some things that have been kept you stuck instead of being unstoppable, it doesn't require just a little action. It doesn't require just some tiddly action. It requires massive action. You know, a good speaker colleague of mine, she says playtime is over, PTIO. And too many of us will walk in the gym in January and we'll play with the weights and we'll look good and we'll make sure that the new outfit we bought matches the shoes that we bought.
Yes.
And some of you women have the bandana that goes with the, and you're looking fly. You're looking like you're really gonna do something, but you're just playing. You spend more energy wiping down the machine after you worked out than you did actually working out.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the other side of the coin, too many of us start off the new year with these new goals for starting a business, these new goals for starting a new relationship, these new goals for applying for a new job, these new goals, and we play with it. We don't really set a strategic goal. We don't set the SMART goals, where it's specific, where it's measurable, where it's attainable, where it's realistic, and where it has a time frame. And so we end up playing with the goal in the first month, and we find ourselves in the second month and we haven't made any progress. We haven't lost any weight.
That's right.
And all we've ended up done is waste time.
Yes.
It's that massive action and that base formula that's going to make the difference moving forward. Right, Coach Z?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move right into, we talked about belief, we talked about alignment. So now let's talk about the S in your base formula.
S stands for strategy. Strategy is the execution. You have got to know how you're going to get to when it comes to weight loss, because believe me, as much as you want to wake up and wish it away, it doesn't happen that way. But when you have a plan and you're able to put that plan in place and say, this formula, you guys, works, if whether you're going to have a procedure, a program, a type of product, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're going to use to transform your body, implement this, you must have a strategy. So you've got to know from the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep, your daily activities in order to reach this goal. And commitment and dedication is a key fundamental. So for instance, if you're going to use a product, then you must know what your brain, it takes 21 days in order to change a habit. So at least give yourself these 21 days to know that you must have your weight scale handy. You must have your food journal handy. You need to educate yourself in order to know how many calories do I need. You know, people say counting calories. I tell you what, your brain understands metrics. So this you have to do at first. Not to say that you have to do this forever, because I don't. But look at how long it took me and how long I've been working on it. That was only from repetition of doing this over and over and over and over. So this is what I mean by going full throttle. So if you're taking some type of weight loss drops or a shake or something, then you need to know, well, what time of the day do I need to take these drops? Do I need to drink these shakes? If I'm supposed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, how many calories do I need to eat this breakfast, lunch, and dinner? How much protein, fat, carbs are supposed to go? This is something serious that you don't need to play with, because always know that you are playing with your life and you are worth it. You are worth more than you could ever imagine. That's what strategy is having that plan, that how, that attack. How are you going to execute this transformation? What path are you going to use? And that's what strategy is going to teach you. Every single day you've got to, because you will be distracted in this journey and caught off guard. You don't want to be caught off guard knowing, not being prepared. Preparation is key. To have your food with you. I can't tell you how many days, Terrance, I would have my food in my purse when I would go to work, and I would keep it in the refrigerator. If I had peanuts or something, keeping it at my desk. I was that dedicated to where I knew for my weight and my height, I knew how much protein I needed, how much fat that I needed. What size of a bowl. I knew what, when I woke up every morning, I knew, okay, I want to lose a pound today, or my goal is to lose, 5 pounds at the end of this week. I just started setting some serious goals. So goal setting, preparation, having your food journal handy, having your weight scale handy, because you will need to weigh yourself every single day. 21 days to break a habit. And that's what strategy will teach you.
I love it. And Coach Z, she's going to give you information at the end of this broadcast on how you can work a little bit closer with her to learn the strategies that she helps with her clients each and every day on their weight loss journey. But now we get to the final part of the B.A.S.E strategy. We get to the letter E. And what is the letter E in your B.A.S.E formula, Coach Z?
E stands for education. And education is what will teach you how to create lasting, permanent change. Because it evolves with you as you continue to educate yourself. I still, to this day, you all, I wake up and I dive deep into making sure I feed myself mentally, emotionally, physically, always. This is a lifestyle change. And that's what education will do for you. Is education is on the same premise as science, because science teaches you the facts. Science gives you the different studies and experimentations and things that have been knowledge that is out there for you to grab. So that's going to teach you a lot about food. This is what I teach to my clients. It's going to teach you the effects that sugars, starch, proteins, and fats all have on the body, and how to turn your body into a fat burning machine. Because I can tell you right now, I am my body. How I was able to shrink. If you go on my page and you see my before picture, people can't believe that was once me. I can't believe it was once me. It's
I
hard
know.
sometimes. I go back to my.
And you know what? This is a good time to throw it in as we begin to wind it down and wrap it up, because that's a point. I'm sure you get it all the time. People look at you today, or people will see you in the gym at 11, 12 o'clock at night, or people will see you at your different speaking engagements, and before you open your mouth, they would have no idea that this was your story. What do you say when you get that kind of response now? How does that make you feel?
It's mind blowing. It truly is, because 7 years ago I would have never seen this day, Terrance. And scientifically, I can tell you this: 95% of everybody right now, their bodies are sugar burners. But I have converted my body from being a sugar burner to a fat burner.
Okay.
And the only way that's what's going to turn your body is going to start incinerating fat. It's going to normalize hormone and blood sugar levels. What that's going to do is improve brain function athletic performance things. I can now do a minute and a half plank. I remember when I couldn't do 10 seconds,
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So with athletic performance, slow down the process of aging, you guys. It is so speed up my metabolism. And the way I was able to do that, the very first go-to source, I'm going to tell you a secret. This is where education, this is the last part of that formula. This is what I learned through my research. This is from trial and error, just from me doing hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years of research. The very first go-to source that your body is going to use is glucose, which is sugar. So that means that everything that you eat is going to convert into sugar, especially if it has sugar, carbohydrates, and starch in it. Well, if you cut out those things and your body no longer has carbohydrates, it no longer has anything to convert over to glucose, what happens is your body starts to produce something called ketones. Ketones are produced by the fatty acids in your liver. So when you no longer have glucose in your bloodstream to go to for energy, that creates those insulin spikes that makes you hungry all the time. And people are always like, I just ate a few hours ago and I'm hungry already. That's because your meal had so much sugar in it that your insulin is going up and down like this. So it's causing you to have cravings and to be hungry all the time. So what I learned is how to make my body switch from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. So how you can just lean your body out the way I was able to, Terrance, there was soda, sugar, carbs. I adapted the ketogenic lifestyle. So what that means is I keep my carb count down to lower than 20 grams per day.
Wow. So
And that means no
that's
soda, no bread, no pasta, none of that stuff that people just indulge in every day. I have a plant-based, whole foods, nutrient-dense diet, which is mainly of some dairy and vegetables, fish, proteins, a little bit, that sort of thing. There was just a lot of things that I cut out. And that's what the E teaches you is you're either a sugar burner or you're a fat burner. There is no in between. I teach my clients because what I've done is, and how I was able to transform was I am now a fat burner. I'm no longer a sugar burner. So my body is constantly burning fat for energy, not sugar. That's the
right.
cleaner source of energy for your body and your brain. Hence, people are always talking about my skin. You know, people are always my energy, which I work. My energy is always crazy high. I don't have to drink coffee for it. I don't have to take crazy energy supplements. This is all
So
natural
500
only
energy for
because
you, huh?
I just changed the way that I eat. That's it. That is the key, is changing the way. You have to commit to a complete dietary change. And that's what E teaches you, the education of science.
And you know what? I love it. We're talking to Coach Z, Zasha Hall, here on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Thank you for the information. We do want to give the disclaimer because Coach Z is not a doctor. And as she said in education, a lot of where she has gotten to today has been her own personal trial and error. And
Yeah.
so, what we are also saying to you is that you are going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the education about your own self, your own weight loss issues, your own belief system, your own what's in alignment or out of alignment, your own strategy in order to make this formula work for you. But here's the good news. We've got this beautiful woman here who was beautiful at 350. Let me say that outright. But she's beautiful because now she believes it
Yeah.
6, 7 years later. There's
Yeah.
the key. And if she can do it, if Coach
Yeah.
Z can lose 9 dress sizes, if Coach Z can lose 180 pounds and maintain it for 7 years, if Coach Z can go from a low self-esteem, always judging herself based upon somebody else, into a person who is, you got to show you this picture again because you guys just won't believe it until you see it. Gotta show it. If she can go from that person that was filled with low self-esteem and doubt and self-hatred at 350 pounds to this person who is on top of the world and just in love with herself and her husband and everything that was happening in her life, let me say it one more time. If she can do it, then guess what? You can do it too. That's the base formula from Zasha Hall. Zasha, how can they get in contact with you? Because, we could talk. This is a 3-hour webinar at least.
Yeah.
To an hour. So how can they get in contact with you if they want to just hear more about your story, if they want to have a closer contact with you, if they want to stay motivated by you? What's the best way for them to get in contact with you? I know it's grown by leaps and bounds a year later, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I am on Facebook, of course. Zasha Hall. Feel free to private message me any questions that you may have, and also on Instagram as Coach Z underscore. So please feel free at any time to inbox me with any questions. I know this is just, this is a very sensitive subject, and a lot of people are afraid. And I just truly encourage you to never be afraid to face your fear, this is something that will truly enhance your capacity to grow within all areas of your life. So if you have never had enough courage up until this point, hopefully watching this video will give you just that size of a mustard seed, because that's all you need to reach out to me, because I've been there. I know what you're going through, and I know what's going on in your mind right now, and I know how hard it seems. But all you need is just to get started, and to feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be there to help you.
I love it. Zasha Hall. Let's look at some of the comments that are in the room. We've got Yolanda Carter saying, awesome. You look fabulous. Thank you, Yolanda, for joining the show. We've got Sharon Johnson Leftridge. She might be related to me, saying you look great. Definitely.
Thank you.
We're going to have to get you in the same room. Maybe we do a 3-person workout together.
Okay.
And Tina Hobson said she loved the caterpillar analogy that you used earlier. I loved it as well. I use it a lot with my clients because, when you go into the cocoon, it's a dark place.
Yeah.
But it's that way on purpose. It's dark because you're going into the unknown. And a lot of people are afraid to go through the unknown and risk the possibility of being greater on the other side. We're comfortable with what we know. We know we're overweight, but hey, I've been this way all my life. I'm good with it. We know that we have low self-esteem, but hey, you know what? I can just keep to myself. I enjoy being by myself. I don't need to be by anyone else. Instead of risking what's on the other side. Someone said that inside the cocoon, that caterpillar is inundated with nutrients. It's just to almost 3 times the caterpillar's size. Why? Because he needs all that extra energy. He needs all that extra fuel. He needs all those extra nutrients to do 2 things. Here's the 2 things, Zasha. First, he needs that extra energy to break out of
Absolutely.
that. You have not breaked out of your cocoon yet because you have not invested in your belief system, your alignment system, your strategy system, and your education system to feed your mind so that you have the energy necessary to burst out of that cocoon. But here's the second thing. You don't have enough energy to burst out of that cocoon yet. So until you get that energy, you won't be able to fly.
Yes, there it is.
We are here to change you from the caterpillar into the butterfly that you were created to be. Not because Zasha wants you to be that, not because Coach T wants you to be that, but because you were created to be that.
Yes.
And we're just here as vessels to help you have your defining moment, to have your caterpillar encounter so that you can ultimately have your butterfly experience.
Yes.
She said it, y'all. It's just the base formula. Let me run it down again in case you missed it earlier. The base formula is just your belief, your alignment, your strategy, and the education.
There it
And
is.
what can they be if they follow your formula, Coach Z?
Transformed
Yes.
permanently.
Once you are transformed, you become unstoppable. Hey,
Yes.
Coach Z, I'll give you the final word, and then we're going to let you go. I appreciate your time as always. What do you want to leave our audience with? Not only about their weight loss journey, but their life journey.
I would just say take risks. Take risks. Life is extremely short, shorter than when we could ever know because it's something that we have absolutely no control of. And I would highly, highly suggest to never get comfortable with being comfortable. Always push, push for more, push to be better because that is what helps you to live a more abundant life and to be free. I promise you guys, anybody who's struggling with anything here, internally, outwardly, physically, emotionally, mentally, free is where you want to be. And it took me a great deal of work to get here. But I want to tell you that it is worth every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year that you have to give to put into it to get there. Do what you have to do and never give up.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. We have been blessed to spend this last hour with Coach Z, your transformation expert. Check her out, Zasha Hall on Facebook, Coach Z underscore on Instagram. Hey, and you know what? Anytime you want to come back, when that next book is about to drop, you've got a spot here on the Unstoppable Story Show because I know it's just going to be something else that's going to bless our audience. Congratulations to you and Mr. Walker. Again, happy anniversary. Nothing but great things for you
Thank
too
you.
in 2018. And as always, I want you to keep being unstoppable, Zasha.
Thank you for having me, Terrance.
Not a problem. That's Zasha Hall, Coach Z, you guys, on the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. Another great show, another great time. Hey, before I leave, I want you guys to definitely understand. I want you to keep your face in the place. I want you to remember that you can be unstoppable too. And you can move from that past self esteem, you can move from that past hurt into a purposeful future. And if you need a little help with that, then, oh, by the way, save the date. May 19th, 2018, the next in the series of the You Are Unstoppable book series, Moving from Past to Purpose, is going to be released. Yes, in the spring of 2018, May 19th, here in Chicago, myself, along with 6 other powerful co authors, I'm going to bring to you a transformational, yeah, I stole it, Zasha, a transformational book called Moving from Past to Purpose. These young women and young men are going to be talking to you about no matter how old you are, no matter where you are, no matter what your situation is, you can move from that past that has kept you stuck into that purpose that's going to change not only your life, but the lives of the people that you come in contact with. So we're going to be doing a book launch here in Chicago. Coach Z, I hope you can come to town. You and Isaac would love to have you there. Your story fits into this book as well. I know you want to do your own thing, but you have an unstoppable story. You have are the epitome of moving from past to purpose as well. And we want you guys to be in the place to hear these powerful testimonies of how these people have been able to move from their own past issues and obstacles and now they are walking in their purpose. So save that date. May 19th is going to be at Ruby Brownstone's Infinity Banquet Hall here on the south side of Chicago from 1 to 5 p.m. on May 19th. We have a link up on Eventbrite right now. You can just go to this link that I'm going to put in the feed right now. So get your pens and paper, bit.ly/, God, I wish I could type faster. Here you go. bit.ly/pass to purpose. That's all you have to do. Go there right now and register for this luncheon to get your seat to hear these powerful stories. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have some great music, and we're going to have some powerful testimony. And oh, by the way, you can get your copy of the book, You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose. So go ahead. That link is active right now to take you right over there for all the information. If you want to be a sponsor of the You Are Unstoppable book luncheon, you can also feel free to sponsor it. If you are out of town and you don't think you can make it, here's something else you can do. There is a donate button there. Maybe you can't make it, but maybe you know somebody that needs to be there. You can donate on the site and help us bring people to the luncheon for free. There's a cost for everybody else, but if you can't be there, why not pay it forward and donate to allow somebody else to come in and hear these powerful testimonies? We've got people that are talking about love beyond the walls, their prison experience. We've got people that are talking about lost identity and finding out that they are now a wonderfully made masterpiece. We have people who are talking about how they were dying inside physically, but that dying defining moment gave them the strength to become a warrior and recognize that that dying inside was just positioning them for a greater purpose. And we've got many, many more stories just like that in the book. So again, May 19th, 2018, here in Chicago. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And as always, I just want to thank you again for supporting the Unstoppable Story Show with Terrance Leftridge. We love you. We appreciate you. And no matter where you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Make it an unstoppable day. Take care.